Surrendering to everyone in Nigeria, saying that you guys are the number one. Nigeria wants you.
Nigeria as a country has too many tribes, too many cultures, too many people with different ideologies, different perspectives, different orientation. However, our British masters brought us together and lumped us all without any concerted plan, without any plan that in the future will harmonize us together. And when our forefathers fought for independence, they didn't fight as Nigerians. I keep saying this in previous videos. They came as tribal champions. Ahmadu Bello, Zeke, Awolowo, they were all tribal champions. They were fighting for independence at the same time, suspecting the other tribe, trying to make a free Nigeria where their tribesmen or their region will have a better advantage than the other people. Nobody actually fought for a Nigeria that will be beneficial for all. Nobody did that. Now, for me, one of the biggest mistakes that Nigeria did, and I think it wasn't a deliberate mistake. The mistake was not deliberate. It was an oversight. And the mistake started from the 1914 amalgamation. The mistake started from the 1914 amalgamation. Why did I say so? Please follow me. Pay attention. I hope I'll be able to string my words to make sense. Now, in 1914, when the British felt it was necessary to amalgamate the Northern Protectorate and the Southern Protectorate owing to administrative costs, it wasn't a bad idea. But where they did the mistake was that when they amalgamated the Southern Protectorate and the Northern Protectorate to form what we now know today as Nigerian, they failed to describe the narrative. They failed to, bring the right narrative to describe where is north, where is south. I think I made let me give an example. Hold on a second. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Now, when I make my videos, I just get the ideas, and I start talking about it. Some of these things are not okay. Now, this is a container. Let's say I have 2 liter. I have a quantity of Coke, and somebody has a quantity of Fanta, and we decide to turn it into this container, right? And it filled it up. Now, where should we describe as the top of this bottle, and where should we describe as the bottom of this bottle? Now, this was where the North showed that they were more politically savvy than the South. When they joined Nigeria together, the Southern Protectorate was smaller in land mass, which is what we have today as the Southwest, the South-South, and the Southeast, which is the Southern Protectorate. What we have today as the North Central, northeast, and northwest is what we call the Northern Protectorate. Now, because Nigeria came together as a country, the idea that one part is a protectorate and one side is another protectorate shouldn't have been carried into our mentality. They should have re-described the top part of Nigeria as north and the lower part of Nigeria as south, which means part of the north will automatically be referred to as south. Since we are now a country, nobody owns us again, we are now free. But the narrative to describe Nigeria should have changed. Now, the north understood the implication, and in order to sustain that narrative that the north is bigger than the south, they quickly decided that they will bring Lagos to Abuja. And the argument they said then, listen carefully, the argument they proffered then was that they needed the capital to be in the middle of, the center of Nigeria, so that the economy of Nigeria can be distributed evenly across Nigeria. And then they chose Abuja. That was the argument that was brought forward to create Abuja today in 1980. Lagos was the former capital until it became Abuja. So my argument is this. If the North understood that where Abuja is today is the middle of the country, Nigeria, why then do you still refer to places under Abuja as North? Places like Nasarawa, Kwara, Kogi, Taraba. And the situation doesn't even the situation doesn't even end there. This narrative is even more accentuated by us Southerners than the North. It's even more accentuated by us, because when a Southerner is traveling, let's say from Maiduguri, he's going to the south, and you ask him, oh, but where una dey? Now we still dey north, we never even start say we dey. Where una dey? We dey Maiduguri, we dey come. Then you stay, maybe 3 or 4 hours later you call him. But where una dey? Una don dey enter south. My brother, we still dey north, where una dey? We dey Kaduna. Okay. Where una dey? We still dey north, Where una dey? We dey Abuja. Hey, now wow. He now lives Abuja. Now, Abuja is supposed to be in the central part of Nigeria, which is more or less like a dividing line in Nigeria. But here's a southern man who has been led into a union but has a defeatist mentality. Then he's now traveling. You now call him, where una dey now? Una don enter south. Now my brother, we still dey north too. Where you dey? We just enter Lokoja. Because the Northern Protectorate and the Southern Protectorate mentality was carried into the one Nigeria that the British created for us. Because now that we are a country, there shouldn't be Nigeria, the division of identity shouldn't cut across this protectorate itself. Now the British now give us so. We were living together. We didn't have all this protect. So the British caused this artificial division. Initially, they just cut the South because the South had more wealth. Cocoa, coffee, timber, rubber, and all the sorts. What the North had was groundnut and what again? Cotton. But the South was actually producing most of the wealth. Okay. That is where the biggest problem of Nigeria came, that identity. Today, the North will always flash the idea that they occupy a bigger landmass than you. Because of that, they tell that they have more population than you. In fact, even though you are creating the wealth, even though the wealth is coming from you, they still have that boss mentality because of the land mass mentality created by the Northern Protectorate and Southern Protectorate mentality brought in by the colonial masters. So how do we resolve this? How do we resolve this? Now, I don't want to go into the history of the Civil War and all those that led us to where, because if you have to dwell in the past, it's because there is something you're going to pick there to fix the future. I am not that person that dwells on the past to pick something that will make us quarrel. Hey, your papa, your mama, your this. The only reason why I will visit history is because there's something there I want to pick to fix the future. That is what the history is, a story. It's a story. And stories are meant to teach you about fixing the future. That's what history is meant for. So when I'm arguing certain people, say Akintola this, Igbo kill this, Igbo buy this, if it's going to bring more hatred, more quarrel, then history is defeated. But if we are going to learn history where in the past this happened, in order to prevent it, let's do it like this. Now that's history. That's history. So now, we have had the military in governance, which basically they are mostly tribal champions. Our biggest problem is problem of leadership, coated with people that come as tribal champions. I've said it in most of my videos over and over again. Now, until we begin to find leaders without that tribal mentality, we can never go where. We can never go anywhere. Now, let me shock you. Do you know that Buhari and Tinubu would have made good, fantastic leadership? Buhari could have solved Nigeria's problem. Buhari was one of the biggest opportunity we had to solve Nigeria's problem. But he was a tribal champion. And why did I say Buhari could have solved Nigeria's problem? Because everybody was afraid of him. All he needed to do was say, okay, let this be. That will be. Nobody will challenge it. Let that be. It will be. Nobody will challenge him. But he came with an agenda to empower his Fulani brothers. Not the Fulanis of Nigeria, Fulanis of outsiders. He opened the border and asked his Fulani brothers from outside to come in. And here is a president who brought a lot of Fulanis into Nigeria that were not skilled. They were not skilled. They are not educated. And we didn't know what type of orientation they have. You flooded them into Nigeria. There was a time I was in Warri. I saw people dragging my clothes, begging for money. Even in Plateau here, there were many of them that were scattered around begging for food to eat. Today, they are no longer there because they have stylishly integrated with us. Today, we now have high level of kidnapping, with outrageous ransom being demanded. Sometimes you pay this ransom, and yet victims of these kidnappings still end up being unalived. So you can see where I'm coming from. Same to Tinubu. I hate to say this, but Tinubu also could have been a very big solution to the Nigerian problem. But like his predecessor, he too is a tribal champion. Because all of a sudden, if you are hearing the director of this Yoruba judiciary, Yoruba, this, everything is now Yoruba, 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 I'm hearing in my ears. Nigeria cannot work like this if we do not have leaders that have strengthened their mind to transcend this